Our planet is full of surprises, from forests that glow at night, rocks that appear to move on their own, to rivers of smooth, rope-like Pahoehoe lava. Earth creates wonders that feel like magic. These extraordinary phenomena arise without human help.
When sunlight hits the water, the colors change. But this is always pink.
And remind us how powerful and inventive nature can be. Join us as we explore the strange, beautiful, and breathtaking spectacles that make our world unlike any other. Number 23. Hydrovolcanic eruption. When hot lava meets water, the world seems to hold its breath. Picture a river of glowing rock pushing toward the sea. As the lava reaches the water, steam rises in clouds and a hissing sound fills the air. Deep beneath the surface, magma moves upward through cracks. It carries enormous heat.
Magma produces unstable gases, which trigger eruptions.
When this heat touches water, either on the surface or below ground, the water turns to steam almost instantly. The transformation is dramatic. A small amount of water becomes a vast volume of steam. That rapid expansion needs space, but the hot rock and surrounding ground are tight, like a sealed room. The expanding steam presses hard against the rock and magma around it. At a certain point, the rock can no longer hold together and it shatters into fragments. How violent that break becomes depends on two things: the pressure pressing on the rocks and how much water mixes with the magma. Scientists have found that a particular mix of water and magma often produces the strongest explosions. In those moments, the volcano does more than flow. It bursts, hurling ash and rock and sending plumes of steam into the sky.
Watch out for the shock, it's coming.
These dramatic events, when fire meets water, are called hydrovolcanic eruptions. They remind us how powerful and surprising nature can be when two simple elements collide. Number 22. Supercell. A supercell is one of nature's most dramatic storms. From a distance it can seem calm, then without warning it turns violent. At its core, a slow, powerful spin lifts air miles into the sky. That rotating updraft holds the storm together and allows it to survive for hours while it feeds on fresh energy. Supercells often stand alone, like a dark island on the horizon, commanding the weather for many miles around. Some last 2 to 4 hours, and a few endure far longer, even 7 hours or more. When conditions align, they can produce hail the size of fists, sudden floods, and violent tornadoes.
No, please don't hit that farm, holy.
Meteorologists divide supercells into 3 types: classic, low precipitation, and high precipitation. Each looks different and brings its own dangers. Supercells can form anywhere the atmosphere permits, but they are most famous over the Great Plains of the United States. In that stretch known as Tornado Alley, the sky births storms people remember for a lifetime.
Oh my God. Oh my God, look at that.
Number 21. Goats in the trees. High in Morocco, goats climb trees like practiced acrobats. They pick their way out onto the thin branches of the argan tree and stand there, eating fruit as if it were the easiest thing in the world. Tourists often pause to stare. The goats nibble green and brown, bean-like fruits. The argan tree is thorny and prickly, so most animals stay on the ground, not these goats. They climb because food is scarce on the dry land. When the low fruit is gone, they go higher. Their hooves find the bark and cling to small limbs. They balance on awkward branches and reach the sweetest pulp. Locals call this strange sight a natural wonder of Morocco. It seems almost impossible, like a tiny circus in the trees. Inside each fruit hides a hard seed. Goats eat the flesh and leave the seed whole or swallow it. Whether spit out or pass through a goat, the seed is changed. The goat's stomach softens the seed coat. That softened nut helps produce argan oil, a prized product used in food and beauty. Farmers sometimes let the goats climb, because the animals help spread and process the seeds. In a harsh landscape, this odd partnership between goat and tree became both a way to survive and a lasting tradition. Number 20. Caño Cristales. Imagine a river that becomes a liquid rainbow for only a few months each year. Bright bands of red, yellow, green, blue, and black sweep across the water like paint dragged across a vast canvas. It feels like a scene pulled from a fantasy novel, yet it is real. This is Caño Cristales, Colombia's river of 5 colors, the liquid rainbow. For a short season each year, the riverbed erupts in color. The spectacle usually unfolds from late July through November, when water levels and sunlight align just so. The brilliant reds and pinks come from an unusual plant that clings to the rocks and seems to glow from within. Yellow sands, fresh green algae, dark volcanic stones, and clear blue reflections of the sky join the display. Together, they paint the river in living, shifting stripes. Locals first brought the world's attention to this place in 1969 when a group of cattle farmers stumbled across the spectacle. Since then, hikers and nature lovers have traveled from far away to witness the rare show. Caño Cristales is fragile and fleeting. The colors vanish with heavy rains or prolonged drought. That brief window of perfect light and water makes the river feel like a guarded secret. A natural miracle that appears, dazzles, and then quietly slips back into ordinary flow. Number 19. Inverted waterfalls. Reverse waterfalls are one of nature's showstoppers. Picture a cliff with a stream bursting free, water racing toward the earth. Then imagine the whole cascade being ripped upward, a white veil blown back toward the sky. Furious wind transforms the fall into a geyser of spray that climbs instead of plunging. This surreal trick happens when brutal gusts slam into a vertical rock face. Winds of 60 to 75 kilometers per hour or more during storms do not just slow the water, they seize it and fling it skyward. From a distance, the waterfall appears to pour into the clouds. Some places see the spectacle again and again. In Maharashtra, India, Nanagat, and the village of Samrad watch their falls reverse during the monsoon. South of Sydney, the Royal National Park and nearby coasts turn waterfalls inside out when gale force winds howl. Around the world, the same drama plays out at Ferret Falls in Japan, Cachoeira da Fumaça in Brazil, and Dalongqiu Waterfall in China when typhoons and storms arrive. Number 18. Volcanic lightning. Once the ground trembles and the sky goes dark, the volcano wakes. A towering column of ash and smoke climbs upward. Inside that roiling mass, sparks begin to flicker. This is volcanic lightning. It looks like ordinary lightning, yet it is born from the eruption itself. Fragments of hot rock and ash smash and grind together. Those collisions build electric charge. At times, tiny ice crystals form and add to the current. The result is flashes that dance across the ash plume. People call it a dirty thunderstorm. Volcanic lightning can surprise you. It can appear even when the cloud holds no ice at all. The storm draws its power from the violent motion of the eruption, not from weather alone. Long ago, Pliny the Younger watched Mount Vesuvius erupt in the year of AD 79. He wrote of a terrible darkness broken by sudden ghostly flashes of lightning. Centuries later, scientists at Vesuvius studied the same strange lights in the 1800s. Luigi Palmieri watched eruptions with care and recorded what he saw. Since then, volcanic lightning has been seen around the world. It has lit the skies above Alaska's Mount Augustin, Iceland's Eyjafjallajökull and Grímsvötn, Sicily's Mount Etna, the Philippines' Taal volcano, Indonesia's Mount Ruang, and Guatemala's Volcán de Fuego. In each place, the scene is the same: raw power, flying ash, and sudden streaks of light cutting through the gloom. Number 17. The Aurora Borealis. The Aurora Borealis, known as the Northern Lights, is one of nature's most astonishing spectacles. At night, the sky awakens with curtains of green, red, and purple light. The scene feels otherworldly. Slow waves, brilliant ribbons, and sudden flares that dance across the heavens. These lights begin on the sun, which hurls clouds of charged particles into space. When those particles arrive at Earth, they encounter the planet's magnetic field and are guided toward the poles. There, they collide with oxygen and nitrogen high in the atmosphere. The impact makes the gases glow, painting the sky in vivid color. The aurora appears most often near the Arctic Circle. Places such as Norway, Iceland, and northern Canada offer the finest views. People travel from around the globe to stand beneath those luminous skies and watch the silent moving spectacle. It is a reminder that our world belongs to a vast living system and that even the empty sky can become a stage for wonder. Number 16. Geysers. One moment the ground lies still. The next, a towering column of scalding water and steam rips into the sky. A geyser is a rare, wild display of Earth's heat. Geysers need a precise set of conditions to form. They usually appear near volcanoes, where heat presses close to the surface. Rain and snow seep through cracks until they meet hot rock. Far below, water grows hotter and becomes trapped, pressure building like air in a sealed bottle. At last, the pressure breaks free, and the geyser blasts upward in a dramatic plume. These spectacular eruptions are not only an earthly show. Far out in space, some icy moons also eject jet-like blasts called cryogeysers. The spectacle looks different, but the principle is the same. Trapped fluid forced out with energy. Some geysers have become legends. Old Faithful in the United States repeats its eruptions with uncanny regularity. The Great Geyser in Iceland once drew crowds from across the world. Both remind us how alive and unpredictably powerful our planet can be. Number 15. Pahoehoe lava. Pahoehoe lava moves like a slow, glowing river. It flows smoothly, folding into ropes and gentle waves. The name Pahoehoe comes from Hawaiian and means smooth, unbroken lava. A shiny skin forms on the outside, while molten rock slips silently beneath. That hidden motion gives the surface a soft, braided appearance. This lava is extremely hot, around 1,100 to 1,200 degrees Celsius. It is also unusually fluid, flowing almost like thick honey or toothpaste. Because it is so runny, it can spread quietly and cover vast areas. In recent years, Pahoehoe has crept into neighborhoods, destroying homes and cutting off roads. What seems calm can become dangerous in an instant. Under the right conditions, Pahoehoe can change its character. If it cools, loses gas, or encounters a steep slope, the surface breaks and roughens. It then becomes, a jagged, clinkery lava that moves more slowly but proves far more destructive to whatever it encounters. Watching Pahoehoe is like watching the earth breathe. It is beautiful and terrible at once, a living force that shapes islands and changes lives. Number 14. Frozen methane bubbles. Frozen methane bubbles are one of the winter's quiet miracles. In deep, cold lakes, fallen plants and other bits of life sink and slowly rot. Tiny microbes feed on that decay and exhale methane. When winter arrives, the lake freezes from the top down. Methane rises from the dark bottom toward the light. As the surface seals over, the gas becomes trapped in the forming ice. Each burst hardens into a white, milky bubble. Over weeks and months more, gas pushes up and new bubbles freeze atop the old ones, creating stacks of ghostly circles and spheres suspended in clear ice. Sometimes they cluster like strings of pearls. Sometimes they swell into huge, dramatic forms that appear to float in midair. Walking across a frozen lake, you see these bubbles as frozen breaths, a slow, trapped pulse of life beneath the ice. Quiet, strange, and strangely beautiful, they remind us that time and cold can turn the invisible into a work of art. Number 13. Maelstroms and whirlpools. The ocean holds breathtaking beauty and sudden danger. Far out where the sea meets sky, fierce forces can wake without warning. Sailors once whispered about maelstroms, giant whirlpools that drag everything toward a dark center. These whirlpools are not myths. They form when water is forced quickly through tight spaces or when strong currents collide. The surface begins to twist, then spins faster and faster until a hungry vortex opens, a boiling hole in the sea. Picture waves thundering past a cliff like rapids. Now imagine that force multiplied and all around you. Boats caught in its reach are swept into a relentless swirl, steady, merciless, and oddly hypnotic. When the storm passes, the ocean looks calm again, but anyone who has seen a maelstrom remembers its pull. Number 12. Darvaza Crater. It begins with a light that should not be on Earth, an orange ring burning in the middle of the Karakum Desert, From a distance, it looks like a warning beacon. Up close, it is a crater of fire locals call the door to hell. In 1971, Soviet geologists drilled into a hidden gas chamber. The ground collapsed and a huge leak opened. Worried the gas would poison nearby villages, engineers did something drastic. They lit it as they expected the flames to burn out in days. They were wrong. The pit has been burning for decades. It is roughly 70 meters across and 30 meters deep. Heat and an acrid sulfur smell pour from it, and at night, the orange glow can be seen for miles. Former President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow once called it a waste of valuable gas, a reminder of what was lost. Life here is strange but stubborn. The ground near the rim can top 50 degrees Celsius, yet moths and other insects stream into the light. Spiders build webs at the crater's edge, catching the insects the fire attracts. Beauty and danger, survival spun right on the rim of a man-made inferno. Number 11. Volcanic vortices. This is a trick the Earth plays on the sky. From a smoking crater, a perfect white ring slowly rises. It looks like a giant smoke ring, calm and impossible. People stop and stare. These are volcanic vortices. Sometimes they form as round gas rings. Sometimes they twist into small tornado-like whirlwinds called volnados. Hot gas and steam blast from the volcano. Cooler air rushes in around it. The moving air drags against the vent and makes the rising gas curl into a spinning ring. The rings float up, steady and smooth. They can be gray or bright white, smooth and whole. They drift away as if the volcano had blown a peaceful breath into the sky. Mount Etna in Italy is famous for them. It makes more rings than almost any other volcano. Locals call it the Lady of the Rings. Watching one feels like seeing a secret moment of nature, wild, gentle, and brief. Number 10. The Eye of Hurricane. This is the eye of a hurricane. At the heart of the storm, a strange pocket of calm can form. Around it, wind and rain roar. Inside it, the world can be quiet. From above, the eye appears almost perfect, a circular hole in the chaos. It often measures about 30 to 65 kilometers across. That calm center sits inside a wall of fury called the eye wall. There, thunderheads rise like dark towers. Rain falls in sheets and the winds reach their fiercest strength. Barometric pressure drops to its lowest point inside the eye. Sometimes it falls nearly 15% below the air outside the storm. That low pressure pulls everything toward the center, feeding the cyclone's power. In the strongest storms, the eye feels surreal. Skies clear and winds grow light. The surrounding eye wall forms a neat symmetric ring, a living wall of storms on every side. Sailors and pilots who pass through say it feels like entering a different world for a few minutes. Weaker cyclones show a different face. Their eyes blur and break apart. Thick clouds can hide the center. Number 9. The Venus flytrap. The Venus flytrap hides in mossy bogs where the soil is thin and poor. At first it seems still, but then a small drama unfolds. Each leaf ends in a jaw-like trap. Inside the trap sit 3 tiny hairs. One touch is not enough. The insect must brush a second hair within about 20 seconds to wake the plant. In an instant, the trap snaps shut. It moves so fast, about 0.1 second, that the insect has no chance to escape. The flytrap closes like a living trapdoor as cells shift pressure like a cocked spring. This clever trick saves energy. The hair rule prevents the plant from wasting its snap on raindrops or falling debris. Once sealed, the leaf tightens and begins to digest, slowly drawing out nitrogen and phosphorus that the wet, sandy home cannot provide. You will find the Venus flytrap only in the wet, acidic savannas of North and South Carolina. There, among grasses and peat, it survives by hunting. A quiet, sudden hunter, perfectly suited to a harsh place. Number 8. Red crab migration, blood red carpet. Every year on Christmas Island, a red tide sweeps across the land. Millions of bright red crabs abandon the rainforest and march to the sea to breed. The procession begins with the first rain of the wet season and follows the moon. Timing is everything. The crabs flood roads and trails, turning the island into a moving red carpet. The males lead, arriving at the coast first to dig burrows. The females follow soon after. Life on the island shifts for the crabs. Authorities close major roads and build bridges and tunnels so the animals can cross safely. Residents and park workers gently move crabs off paths or use car guards to protect them. The scene is simple and wild. Photographers, scientists, and nature lovers travel from around the world to watch. For a few days, life on the island slows, and the Earth itself seems to beat in red. Number 7. The Great Blue Hole, ocean's ancient cave. Far out in the Caribbean, about 100 kilometers off the coast of Belize, lies a deep blue mystery. From above it appears as a perfect circle on the ocean, darker and richer in blue than the water around it. This is the Great Blue Hole. A ring of coral encircles it and forms Lighthouse Reef, painting a light turquoise lagoon. In places, the reef is so shallow it breaks the surface at low tide. In the center, however, the water falls away into a vast, round void. The hole spans more than 300 meters across and plunges to roughly 125 meters deep. Long ago, when sea levels were much lower, this place stood dry. Wind and rain carved a limestone cave that took more than 10,000 years to form beneath the open sky. Then, the ice ages ended, and the seas rose. The caves flooded and sections collapsed. What remained was a vertical cavern now drowned by the ocean, a sinkhole with sheer walls and secret chambers. Divers travel from around the world to peer into the blue abyss. They explore the sculpted rock, the ancient stalactites and stalagmites still suspended and lying below the waves. In 1971, the famed explorer Jacques Cousteau sailed his ship Calypso here, naming the Blue Hole one of the world's top diving sites and bringing it global fame. The Great Blue Hole feels like a doorway to the past. Above, the reef shimmers in pale blue. Below, an old cave waits in deep, dark water, a quiet, remarkable record of changing seas. Number 6. Foxfire, where the forest glows. This is foxfire, a soft, otherworldly light that rises from rotten logs in the shadowed floor of old forests. At night, whole stretches of woods can seem to breathe a slow bluish-green glow. The scene feels cinematic. Still trees, a hush, then pinpricks and threads of light unfurling through the dark. The light comes from living things. Small mushrooms and some insect larvae hold a secret that turns air and chemistry into color. Tiny organisms mix a light-making molecule with oxygen and an enzyme, and the forest answers with a quiet, cool radiance. The fungi shine to lure insects. The insects carry spores away, and the cycle continues. Around the world, this quiet magic appears where moisture and decay remain. In the western Ghats of India, rainforests flare green during the monsoon. In Brazil's Atlantic forest, neon green mushrooms carpet fallen trunks. In New Zealand, the caves of Waitomo glow with thousands of tiny larvae, creating a starry underground sky. Seeing a bioluminescent forest feels like stepping into another world. The light is never harsh. It is a gentle living glow that guides small lives through the night and reminds us that even decay can hold wonder. Number 5. Turquoise ice, the ice that glows. Turquoise ice is one of nature's rarest wonders, most vivid on Lake Baikal in Siberia. When winter takes hold, the air turns bitter and the water becomes like glass. The lake freezes slowly and unevenly. Massive shards lift and press against one another, forming a sea of glowing blue-green blocks that resemble scattered gems. Baikal is unique. It is the oldest, largest, deepest, and clearest freshwater lake on Earth. Its purity lets sunlight pass through and paint the ice from within, shifting the color through the day, deep teal at dawn, bright turquoise at noon, and cold sapphire at dusk. Photographer Alexei Trofimov calls Baikal the gem that does not need to be cut. Standing on the frozen surface, you hear only the wind and the distant crack of ice. Light, cold, and silence combine to create a scene that is both fragile and vast. These shards are sculptures shaped by wind, pressure, and changing temperatures. Cracks open, blocks tilt, and the sun turns each face into a tiny lantern. For a few winter months, Lake Baikal becomes a world of turquoise glass, an astonishing and almost unreal natural phenomenon. Number 4. Sailing stones, when rocks walk. Sailing stones are massive rocks that glide across a flat desert like racetrack playa in Death Valley. They leave long furrows behind with no help from people or animals. At first glance, it seems impossible. When rain fills the dry lake bed, the clay turns slick. Cold nights freeze that shallow water into thin sheets of clear ice. As the sun warms the ice, it cracks and begins to drift. A light wind pushes the floating ice like a sail. The ice carries the rocks slowly over the wet mud. Each stone carves a path through the soft ground and leaves a trail for anyone who comes later. Simple weather, rain, thin ice, and a gentle breeze turns this quiet desert into a strange and silent dance that feels like magic. Number 3. Salar de Uyuni, Mirror of the Sky. Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat on Earth. It sits in southwest Bolivia, more than 3,600 meters above sea level. The plain spreads across more than 4,000 square miles. Long ago, giant lakes covered this place. Over millennia, they evaporated, leaving an endless white sheet of salt. When the rainy season arrives, a thin veil of water spreads over the flat. The water rests on the impossibly level ground and transforms the salt into a flawless mirror. The sky and clouds reflect so perfectly that people appear to walk on clouds. The horizon fades into a seamless union of earth and sky. The scene feels utterly otherworldly. Photographers and travelers come seeking that surreal stillness and the perfect reflection. Scientists come for another reason. The plane's extraordinary flatness and clear skies help space agencies calibrate radar altimeters on Earth observation satellites. Beneath the surface, vast lithium deposits lie hidden, an invisible wealth that hints at the plane's quiet power. Salar de Uyuni is both spectacle and laboratory, a place of beauty and science born from ancient lakes and the patience of time. Number 2. Synchronized hordes of cicadas, nature's boom. The ground begins to hum. At first you think it is wind or distant traffic, but the sound sharpens and draws nearer. The air fills with a steady, living buzz. Billions of insects rise together, an ancient and astonishing scene. These are periodical cicadas. They spend most of their lives hidden underground as pale, blind nymphs, sucking sap from tree roots. For either 13 or 17 years, they live in the dark, growing slowly and unseen. Then, when the soil warms to about 64 degrees Fahrenheit one spring, millions climb out at once. They shed their skins, unfold fresh wings, and fill the trees with song. The numbers are staggering. Hillsides ripple with movement. The birds and mammals that eat insects cannot keep up. There are simply too many cicadas. Their abundance overwhelms predators, allowing enough to survive to mate and lay eggs. Adult life is brief, only a few weeks to mate and die, so every moment is urgent and loud. Scientists find another clever twist. Their life cycles last 13 or 17 years, both prime numbers. That rarity helps them avoid lining up with predator breeding cycles. It is a natural strategy that has let them return by the millions, generation after generation. Standing among them, you feel small. The world seems to lean toward a single booming purpose, a breathtaking burst of life that appears only once in many human lifetimes. It is a reminder that nature still holds secrets capable of surprising and overwhelming us all at once. Number 1. Pink lakes, nature's paint. A pink lake seems like a dream. The water glows pink or red, as if paint spilled across the land. Tiny, salt-loving algae and red bacteria live there. The intense salt helps the color shine. Together, they can turn whole lakes rosy. Lake Hillier in Australia sits beside the blue ocean. From above, it looks like a bright bubblegum ribbon hugging the sea. Pilots and tourists gasp at its color, pour its water into a glass, and it stays pink, proof that this is not a trick of light. In Senegal, Lake Retba is so salty that people float with ease. Salt workers wade in to cut and carry the salt by hand. Their labor and the lake's pink glow have shaped lives for generations. On Mexico's Yucatan coast, Las Coloradas is a line of pink pools used to produce natural salt. Flamingos sometimes stand at the edges, as if drawn to the hue. These lakes feel otherworldly. They remind us that nature still holds bold surprises, strange, beautiful, and alive.